Hello and welcome back to Shelf Center. This is Bryce. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. If this is something you end up enjoying, you never know, it could happen. Well, I got a new microphone I'm testing out. I've had some issues with my videos being extremely soft. I appreciate the commenters for letting me know. I thought something was up, but yeah, so thank you. Anyway, let's jump into the news for this week. That's right. We'll see if I even like this microphone. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments if you have any feelings on it. But this is the news for this week as it relates to science fiction, fantasy, and sometimes horror. Mostly as it relates to books, but also media. And we've got a healthy amount of both. So let's jump into it. All right, the books. First things first, Glenn Cook, notably the author of The Black Company, has got 4 new Black Company books. The book 1, Lies Weeping, looks like will be out November 4th, 2025. So we got some time. You can prep for it, get ready. There's a lot in the Black Company series. This is a new arc titled A Pitiless Reign. Apparently 3 of the 4 books are already written, and so it's well on its way. I can say Black Company, I did read the first book and it is excellent. It's just, it's wonderful. One of my favorite parts is that it did inspire Steven Erikson of Malazan Book of the Fallen fame. So I need to read more in this series, and there's more coming. So here you go. We've got a Guy Gavriel K book coming out. This is Written on the Dark, and it looks like May 27th, 2025. I've been getting my list ready for my top books that I'm anticipating for next year. This is definitely on it. Guy Gavriel K is just excellent author, very like epic in his scope usually, and usually kind of handles a fantasy land, but with some kind of realistic kind of, I guess, grounding almost, and maybe that's completely wrong, but this one essentially is like a medieval France, so that makes sense. Like Lions of Al-Rassan is kind of more like a Spain, and yeah, I feel like he's done France before, and I could be wrong, but I feel like he has. Then again, next year we've got Academy of Outcasts, Larry Correia. This is, all we have is sometime in 2025. This is going to be his progression fantasy. So this is the second kind of major author that I have heard of who didn't, start this way like Matt Dinniman with Dungeon Crawler Carl, but essentially progression fantasy is this like leveling up type of fantasy, like a video game, in literary form, in book form, which is pretty cool. So I think that's good news. Anyway, that alone already gets me excited. But again, the other one, David Dalglish, is also coming out with one next year. So that's pretty cool. I think it's finally hit the mainstream, the traditional publishing. They finally caught on here. It's only taken a couple years. All right, then in independently published book news, we've got Suppression of Powers. This is actually not next year, it's this year coming out. JCM Byrne, friend of the channel JCM Byrne. This is a first book in the second arc of the Hybrid Helix. So if you are a fan of the Hybrid Helix, which I am, it's excellent. This is for you, for sure. J. Caleb Design did the cover. I really like it. At first, when I first saw it, I was like, this can't be a new series. This has got to be in the same. There was a little bit of a teaser. The Bears gives it away if you've read book 1 even. But it's, I love it. It's so good. And JC and Byrne, congrats. This comes out December 17th, so check it out. Then we also just had this fellow booktuber. I always love promoting fellow booktubers' books. The Crimson Fire, Memories of Kinnear. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Abel Montero, and if you haven't checked out his booktube channel, please definitely go there. And so this will be his first book in English, I think, and I could be wrong. But anyway, Books with Abel, check that out. And we're looking at tentatively May is the publication date. We're gonna get a cover. We don't have a cover yet, we just have the title so far. The cover probably January. May is, you never know, things change all the time, but I'm looking forward to it, and again, adding it to my list. And congrats there to Abel. The Goodreads Choice Awards, I actually meant to mention this in my last news, and somehow it fell off. Sometimes when I write it down in my notes, then it doesn't necessarily make it on. I don't know why. But anyway, the Goodreads Choice Awards, the winners were announced. The winners of the Goodreads Choice Awards, in the year of our Lord 2024 were announced on December 5th. That's right. December 5th of the same year in which the awards proclaimed to be about. Anyway, notably, some certain book may or may not have come out after December 5th. Some might say on December 6th, and didn't make it onto an awards. The #1 New York Times best-selling book didn't make it onto an awards list. Just interesting to me for the same year in which it was published. I mean, it makes sense, right? This isn't just to get people excited to buy more books, right? The Amazon company that's related to Amazon? No. Which, speaking of which, Anderson did announce that Wind and Truth, if you can believe it, was actually, has made the #1 in the New York Times bestseller list. I think we all can imagine that that would happen yet again. I believe it's yet again. It's extremely anticipated by the fans. I went in there and there were like 5 people buying the book in that moment. So I can only imagine, and this is just in my little neck of the woods, I can only imagine what was purchased just elsewhere, not to mention in physical form, the Kindle book. Also, I thought it was interesting, the Kindle book is going for like $20, which it's a steep price, anyone can admit, for a Kindle book. I get it. Having done economics as my undergrad, it's price discrimination. That's what it is. That's what they're doing. That's what they've always done. It's why books come out first in hardcover, and you have to pay that extra price if you want to read it faster. And if you want to read it slower, you can get it through other means. You can get it a little slower, and it'll eventually come down. It'll eventually be a better deal and all that. So it's just the price is waiting, and that's mainly what happens. And I guess I don't begrudge a publishing house for doing that. I also understand how people can be frustrated with it, and if you want it for cheaper, there's libraries, and it's just one of those things that, like, I get it. I would be frustrated too. It is a Kindle. It's not like there's a lot spent on the production, but think too, paperback really doesn't cost that much to produce, especially in the amounts that they produce it in. Hardback, it looks fancier and it looks nicer, but it's still cardboard, and it's still, I'm not convinced, all that much more, but you're paying for it, obviously, right? It's, again, this is stuff that has always gone on, and you pay a little bit more to get the first access to it. You can wait and it'll be less, and because it always is, and eventually there will be either a deal if you're watching anything like that. I paid the premium. What's funny is usually new releases will get like a 30% off or something at Barnes & Noble. Not even there. I was really hoping, had a feeling though. So, anyone who paid full price, and the publisher's doing quite well with that, I'm sure. Anyway, let's move on to the media. All right, a couple bits of Warhammer news, actually. Secret Level, first of all, is an animation, Warhammer 40K animation that's already out on Amazon Prime. I'm interested to look into this. I have kind of just danced around this. I have a couple books by Dan Abnett. I understand that Warhammer 40K is one that kind of almost demands that you read as well as kind of, as play the game. So that's pretty cool. Warhammer 40K TV show, live action with Henry Cavill, looks like that is moving forward on Prime. So I think that's pretty cool, but that's essentially all the news I have for that. If you do want some Warhammer 40K, Secret Level is out and just barely came out. So let me know how that is. And we got news that Dune Messiah, technically that's the sequel book, but a third movie, is going to begin filming August 2025. Anya Taylor-Joy is involved. I think I can assume which role she's playing, but I didn't want to get into spoilers for that. I think that's good news that is moving forward. Definitely Dune was my favorite. Dune Part 2 was my favorite movie this year, and I hope it gets all the awards because it deserves it. It's so good. I still, which is crazy, I think I'm in the minority that I liked the first one better. Just because I think I wasn't ready for that. Just the beauty, the scenery, that everything was so amazing in it. We've got Wheel of Time season 3 is coming out March 13th, 2025. I never watched season 2. I still haven't been able to get myself to. I was quite frustrated with the ending of season 1, and just a lot of just decisions that didn't make sense. To me, just logically, if you just have some bit of logic. And so anyway, I should give it another chance. I promise I'll give it another chance, but I need to. All right, and in funny news, I think Kraven the Hunter is apparently going to be our last in this Sony villains universe for now. Who knows? I don't understand why they didn't learn their lesson with Madam Web. But it's not doing well, and I like the main guy. What's his face? What is it? I'm blanking on it because of course I'm filming. But man, he's so good in Bullet Train. He's so good in like so many things. Obviously, the other Marvel movies, sorry, the Marvel backed movies. But we're done here, I guess, finally with the villain universe. For some reason, there weren't enough flops, I guess. Venom has done okay, right? But even the latest Venom didn't do as well as even the first movie. Usually sequels do better. And so the Venom seems to be tapering off. The going theory is superhero fatigue. I think it's more, the article that I read was like, but you know, there's Deadpool and Wolverine. So I don't know if there's necessarily superhero fatigue. There's maybe Sony fatigue. Sony, stop trying to make this happen. It's not happening. And again, we have, so the best is Venom, Morbius, it's Morbin time, Madam Web, and now Kraven the Hunter. What are we doing here? It's like we didn't learn our lesson at all. So apparently now we're finally done. But again, Kraven the Hunter, it's like great for a TV show episode of Spider-Man, or even to include as like a side character in a movie, but as a main character in his own movie in the Spider-Man universe, and just to not even be about Spider-Man, I just don't, what is the thought process here? It's not a good, I mean, what is it we're trying to make like Guardians of the Galaxy happen again? Because that was, you know, take kind of obscure things, and I know Kraven's not even obscure in the Spider-Man universe. I'm a Spider-Man fan, but at the same time, I've never pictured him as like needing his own movie or deserving of his own movie, just because it's like it's just like a one-off villain, but needs again to be paired with our superhero in a way that makes sense. So anyway, sorry, I could keep going off on that. Doesn't make any sense. Does make sense that they're finally learned that lesson. So anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks for liking and subscribing. And don't forget, there are Kindle deals down in the description below. It does help the channel, so thank you very much. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.